Shout out to my beautiful, dark black, illustrious skin. Yo, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. In today's video, I wanted to talk about just exactly how I got into cycling because it's a pretty interesting story. And I also wanted to highlight the importance of why being nice to other cyclists when you're out on the road is a very important thing to do. It's very invaluable, so stay tuned. Oh, and as far as what I'm wearing today, I'm rocking my Castelli, Perfetto, however you pronounce it, who cares? I'm rocking this awesome jacket. I've done a review on it about a year ago. I'll put a link down in the description below. I really like this jacket. It's really warm, yet it's super duper breathable. Today the weather is like 46 degrees Fahrenheit here in Chicago. We got some crazy winds coming out of the south at about 18, 19 miles an hour. So the good thing is we should finally have a nice tailwind on the way home. So without further ado, guys, let's get active. Oh, and also I forgot to mention the bike that I'm rocking today. So obviously we are rolling with my Dengfu R12 frame set with, of course, the custom decals that I made myself. And naturally we are rocking still my ENVE SES 5.6 wheels that I love. So I am still testing these out for another few weeks. So far I like them. I do have a lot of things to say, but yeah, guys, let's get back to the video. Ay, my bike is dirty. Man, I'm gonna have to clean this up really good when I get home, man. Thankfully, there's not a lot of salt on the road. At least it's all dry, so it's just pretty dusty. And most of this is just sand and stuff. You probably can't really tell too well, but you can kind of see some of the glitter effect in the paint when I painted it a couple months ago. But yeah, I definitely need to clean this bike, man. It's looking kind of janky out here, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. Man, there's just so much snow here. I don't want to fall and bust on my butt, you dig? All right, so a quick background story. So before I got into cycling, I played about 20 years of league basketball. It was a lot of fun. I played in school, after school. I even played in a couple of corporate leagues during my full-time days in the corporate world. And so the summer, actually the late summer of 2020 or 2019, I don't know, but I had ruptured my Achilles tendon. Like, I completely snapped it in half. It was during a playoff game. It was really unfortunate. I had to get surgery, and one of the crazy things about this injury is, so every year around our anniversary, my wife and I, we take this crazy vacation. We've been basically all over the world, my wife and I. But yeah, this injury happened the night before my wife and I were supposed to hop on a plane to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So obviously we couldn't go, which super duper sucks. This is about 2 years ago that this injury happened. So I had to spend about 7 months after my surgery doing physical therapy, all of this stuff. And yeah, it was super depressing. But yeah, I had to take a break from basketball and recover and go through all my physical therapy. Alrighty, so during my physical therapy, my doctor said you'll make a full recovery where you'll be able to go back to basketball 100%. But in the meantime, why don't you take up some other sports, things that are a little bit less impactful on your knees and on your Achilles. So he suggested swimming, and he also suggested cycling. Now at this point, I had already had a bike. I had my old Trek Imanda S4 that I liked. And so all of this happened right when all of this craziness and this pandemic happened in the world. So there wasn't really any place to go to the gym to play basketball anyway, and the streets were basically empty. So I started to hop on my bike. I was pretty nervous at first that I was gonna pull something with my Achilles, but yeah, I started to ride my bike just in the area, and at this point I had only done maybe like 10 miles per ride, nothing crazy. Like, that was as the farthest I've ever ridden on my bike. And so I remember I was at an intersection on the bike path, and there was a really nice gentleman on a bike. He was a cyclist himself, and yeah, he just said hi to me. He introduced himself, and he's like, hey, I am going to go ride another 35 miles longer. Do you want to come with me? And at this point, like I said, I had already rode about 10 miles, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't go that far. And he was like, hey, man, don't worry about it. I got you. I got food for you. You can just hold my wheel. But yeah, I want to show you some really cool places north of the city. So about 40 miles later, we made it. I didn't bonk or anything, and I was just so excited because I had never ridden that far in a single session in my life. And from that point onward, I was immediately hooked on cycling. And so yeah, I started to do all my research, started to buy new gear, I started to waste all my money on cycling stuff. And at that point, I was basically committed to not play basketball again. because I just found this new passion and this new love of this new sport called cycling. Yo, check that view out, guys. This is downtown Chicago here. We got Lake Michigan here over to the left, and then just behind us is the planetarium, which is pretty sick. Man, my poor bike is so dirty, it's crazy. Also too, the training block today is basically nothing. My plans today is basically just to kind of spin the legs. I think it's definitely important that when you're transitioning from riding indoors all winter time to being outdoors, that you kind of take it easy and don't always do hammer fest every single time you go outside, just because you want to make sure your knees and your ankles and all your joints are working as they should. You don't want to pull anything, and you definitely don't want to rupture your Achilles tendon like I did 2 years ago. The reason why I want to highlight this story is because all of this happened because all it took was a pleasant gentleman on the road to say hi to me, to say, hey, let me invite you with me on this ride. Let me show you how awesome cycling can be. And it just really ignited something inside of me. And so from that point onward, I started to take cycling a little bit more seriously than I had at that point. Now, fast forward about 6 or 7 months later at that point, I'm starting to focus more on my training, wanting to start doing some of these races and things like that. I ended up joining one of the local clubs here who have been very helpful and influential, and even just a big motivator as far as my training and wanting to race competitively here in Chicago. So my advice for all you guys out there is, no matter what your fitness level is, whether you are someone who's just getting into the sport, or even if you're a seasoned veteran who's been racing competitively all these years, it doesn't hurt to be nice to people out on the road. Now, of course, if you're doing a serious training block and you're focused and you're not in a position to really say hi to someone, that's one thing, right? But even just acknowledging or a nice head nod can go a long way. And if you are in a situation to sort of pay it forward to someone else, you should definitely do it, because you never know. You might just inspire someone who maybe is a little hesitant to get into the sport on a more serious level. You might be the catapult for them to sort of light that fire underneath them, and they can take the sport to a different level than they have in the past, guys. So that's my advice today. That's my story to cycling. I can't believe it's been about, like I said, a year and a half that I've been taking this sort of cycling more seriously. And it's really has been a lot of fun, and I appreciate the support from all of you guys. So that wraps up today's video, guys. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. And I will check you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.